Let's see if we're on. Hey, all right.
Yay, Galaxy.
Hi, YouTube people. Sorry we haven't been around. It's been for good reasons, though. Life happened.
Life? What's life?
Yeah, it's this thing that we live outside of,
musical rehearsal?
Yeah, for you, it's musical rehearsals. Okay.
No, you don't want the microphone to be the HD webcam, right?
Yeah, no, I'm working on it right now.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys ready? Wow, that was kind of serious right there.
I've got it. I almost lost my voice 2 days ago, so now it's kind of deeper.
Oh, you got that nice little grassly voice going on. I love it when I have that happen.
It won't last for long.
I love going in the shower and singing with that voice.
Pretty soon I'll be talking like this in about 2 days.
That's when you start singing, nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
Nobody knows my sorrow.
And then you open up the window and it's Princess Leia. Okay.
No, it's Princess Druidia.
Druidia, thank you. Yeah, I had to be corrected on that. All right, you ready? Are you all right?
Funny you don't look Jewish.
Okay, here we go. Hey folks, welcome to this episode of the GalaxyCast, brought to you by Druidia. That's a joke and you won't get it because it happened off air. We were just talking about Spaceballs. So, it's good to have you here with us tonight. I have a full table with me tonight. I have with me Eric the Artist.
I am not Han Solo.
I have with me Tara the Inquisitor.
Harley Quinn is the best.
And I have with me Gary the Stud.
I still have my red Solo cup.
And I am Bob Crispin, your host, who would like to have beer right out of that red Solo cup. Okay, so here we are. We're back together again. We're sorry for a small hiatus, but you know what? Sometimes life has to happen, folks. And sometimes life just is more important than a hobby, which is what we're doing here, and that's okay.
Yes,
but gosh, a lot of things happened while we were away from you guys. It was kind of like suddenly everybody went, you know what? Here's a trailer, here's a trailer, here's a trailer, here's a trailer.
We had a couple weeks there where we were like, hey, there's not been a lot of news.
Yeah,
and then we take a hiatus, and it's like someone was listening to the podcast going, okay, they're off air. Release
quick
everything.
Release the hounds. So, this is Trailer Mania. That's right, I've already titled the episode before we even get into it because I can't help it. We have a lot to talk about tonight as far as trailers are concerned, and it's going to be hard for us not to talk about these trailers because they're out there, and I know everybody wants to hear our thoughts on them because, well, they like to hear our thoughts on everything. So, we're going to be talking about the X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer first, then the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer, then the trailer for Venom, then the Deadpool 2 teaser trailer, and of course we have to finish it out with the Solo, a Star Wars story trailer. Okay, so let's start with the most obvious trailer that we thought we would start off with, which is the Dark Phoenix 2, X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer.
Yeah.
Mutation will change the world.
No, I saw the end. It's something else. No, I saw the end. It's something else. Some dark power. And it's growing.
Your mind is the most powerful I've ever seen.
Hands in the air.
I've waited so long. You know how many witches were burned in Salem?
How many?
None. They didn't burn witches at Sunday.
This whole war.
Everything.
We talked about her.
It's hard to win. And there will only ever be one winner.
That they don't look like the X-Men at all.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've always complained that the Fox version of X-Men has never looked like the X-Men, and I'm sorry, I'm talking about the costumes. They've never looked right, and I'm not saying they have to have.
Well, it goes all the way back to Wolverine in the very first X-Men movie,
Correct.
where he says, "What's with the outfits?" And Cyclops looks at him and says, "Would you prefer yellow spandex?"
Right. And
There's
honestly,
our wink joke. Now
Right.
we're going to never actually show the costume.
And part of me was like, yes, I prefer the yellow spandex. Like, I mean, I know they were kind of like ha-ha-haing the moment, but I was
Yeah.
kind of like, yes. Like,
But remember, back
you're missing
then,
it.
we didn't have... That was 7 years before a Marvel Universe would even start.
True.
And Marvel was the ones that seemed to finally crack the code in how to translate the costumes to screen.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have to have a spandex costume to get me into the X-Men.
I mean, we had a Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren where the only time you saw the Punisher symbol was on the edge of the tip of a knife, like the handle of a knife. But now you have Cap and a full-on Cap gear, but done tactical. They
Right.
know how to translate it to realism.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Black Panther, which, I'm hoping to see this weekend, looks like Black Panther, but not. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and to me, that's important. He's got to look the role. Hang on. That's Albert Wesker calling us here.
Well, you can just edit this part out and you can start over. Make sure you're on silent there, Bob. We all
Sorry.
put ourselves on silent.
Okay, sorry. All right. So,
I better do it.
now is everybody on silent?
I'm checking myself.
I'm good. I'm the teenager and I'm
So you can
good.
go back to the
We're
costumes.
back. Okay. So Black Panther, I think Black Panther looks like the costume, but it's also modernized, but I'm okay with that.
Yes.
I like the fact that they added in the padding and all the weird stuff into it, but I'm okay with it. It looks good.
Well, it's super technical. Apparently, his suit, they're saying, in the new movie,
It's going to be technologically advanced.
is more technologically advanced than Stark's Iron Man suit.
Which
Well,
I
that's
think
the
is
way
cool.
that's supposed to be in my
because
personal
they
opinion.
are a high-tech society. I
Right.
would totally believe that.
They're supposed
It
to be
works.
ahead of the time of
Yeah.
everybody else, and I'm cool with that. And that's where I'm sitting here going, you've never given that to me out of any of the X-Men films.
Right, no.
You know what I mean? And to me, the X-Men are
closest-
about the actual costumes.
The
They
closest
really
they
are.
came, if you wanna make people mad, X-Men 3
Yeah.
with Brett Ratner.
Right.
They actually he finally showed us Colossus. He did the whole Cannonball special. I mean,
Correct.
he was trying at least to turn it into the comics, even though the movie was very badly received. He was starting to bring the comic
At
elements
least
in.
the team had an almost team-looking outfit together, which I would actually liked about X3. I know there's a lot of people that hated X3. It was,
No, 3.
It was 3. X-Men 3.
2 was still
kind of semi...
it was Singer, and it was a really good movie.
Right.
But the third one, he brought in the Juggernaut.
Right.
And all
Yeah,
that.
that's
People
right,
were just like,
sorry.
"Oh, this is a joke." They didn't like the look of that. And I'm just like, at least they're trying to do the comic more.
I didn't like the story of 3, but I liked the look of 3.
Right.
And because they actually started to try to bring the look of the comics into the movie. And that's the weird thing. Everybody hates the look. And I'm like, but that's the comics. If you read them, you understand that. I mean, like, so, I don't know.
Here's my complaint
Go ahead.
with this movie. We have not seen much of Jean Grey. And to
Yeah.
have Dark Phoenix, you need to know Jean Grey's entire story. Because you need to have Phoenix before you have Dark Phoenix.
They really
And-
haven't built up to her.
No, they
True.
haven't. And that's my complaint. Like, they're going to ruin Phoenix.
Well, they kind of touched upon the Phoenix Force in Apocalypse. They
They did.
They did.
Slightly.
At the very
They
end.
actually touched on it more in going back to it. X3.
Right.
She went full Phoenix, and
Yeah.
Wolverine had to kill her, and it was
Right.
again. They did it then.
I know, but now they're doing it differently.
Yeah, they are. And I'm wondering, hear me out on this, if the end of this movie, if they know they got to go out with a bang, they kill off all versions of these characters. She literally rips
The universe part.
apart in a hole in the fabric, and into the Marvel Universe they go at the end of the movie.
I mean, it sounds dumb, but it'd be a great way to go out. I mean,
Yeah, it would.
yeah.
Go ahead, go off, go
Like,
for it.
right,
If you're not doing these
if you're
versions
gonna
of
lose it,
characters
then
again.
lose it all. Let Bryan Singer's universe go away. Let them all go
Well,
away.
they did that already with the second First Class movie.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They changed the
time,
timeline.
what was it called?
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, because they altered the timeline
And
and
that
changed
one was
the
okay.
past
Yeah.
in order to go into the future.
I mean, I liked First Class, and I liked Days of Future Past. Apocalypse didn't do much for me. It felt like it was trying to be a big spectacle, but I never, what's his name there? Poe Dameron's version of Apocalypse was just never... He didn't feel like Apocalypse to me.
Yeah.
He never felt really like a great villain. And there were some cool moments and stuff, but the movie felt disjointed to me, so I didn't like it as much as the first two.
Well, I thought he played a good villain, but he didn't play a good Apocalypse.
Right, yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know, it should have been a different villain, even if they just made it up for the movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it would have been alright.
I guess the part I'm disappointed in is they set up an awesome moment to bring in Mr. Sinister, and
Yep.
I don't know if in Dark Phoenix we're going to get the Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, they might not be touching on that now.
And so
I
now
feel
I'm
like-
kind of like we got left, kind of going, because we don't have a Mr. Sinister now.
I feel like basically it's Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix ends with a bang every time. They just want to throw Dark Phoenix at you so that they can say they did that storyline.
Twice.
Yep.
Well, again, I think maybe they had long-term plans and everything that they sold off.
Yep, and they had to rethink it. Yep.
And here's the thing, as a little who was doing the New Mutants movie? That was also Sony, wasn't it?
Yeah, Fox.
Fox.
Sorry, it was Fox.
It was Fox?
It was Fox, which is what this is from.
We've heard nothing about that. I hear it's been pushed back.
It's on hiatus.
It's on hiatus, and it was like this whole horror take, and this almost starts to feel like they're adopting, this trailer, at least the way it's edited, feels like it's got a bit of a horror element to
Yeah.
it. Horror element to it. I gotta pronounce that word right. Because it's got that, it feels like it's hinting at that tension level that you get in a horror movie. And I'm wondering if they're pulling a little of that from the other movie, and that other movie may never be released.
I don't think, well, first off, I don't think that movie is going to be released. I'm just taking a wild stab in the dark on that one.
Yeah.
Just because of the way it's being discussed at current. I don't even think Fox is bringing back the show. What's the name of the show we were watching, Tara?
Gifted.
What's
Gifted
that?
or
Gifted.
Legion?
Gifted, thank you.
There's also Legion.
Legion
We didn't like, so.
Legion I didn't like anyway. I heard Legion's going to be back for the second season this time around.
Do you think Gifted's not coming back?
I don't think Gifted's coming back.
I like that
don't.
show.
I liked the show. It was, I don't know if you watched it, Gary.
I got
thought
a
it was
DVR, so I've seen it yet.
it's a well put together show. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, by the end of it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, why did they get rid of this? Or why are they getting rid? I mean, they've been promised a second season. They got told by Fox they're getting a second season, but now production's been put at a halt. So how do you promise a crew a second season, but then halt production?
What? Promises that mean nothing?
Right,
No
I
one
know.
does that.
Especially in Hollywood.
Just asking humans. Just asking humans. I mean, look where that ended up. So, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out at this point.
Yeah.
All right, so
that's Dark Phoenix.
That's Dark Phoenix. So our second trailer we wanted to talk about. This one, I'm kind of interested in. This one's good.
I just have one question. When Cap needed help, if I'd asked you, would you have come?
I guess we'll never know. But if you had, you'd have never been caught.
I do some dumb things, and the people I love the most, they pay the price.
Thanks to you, we had to run. We're still running.
Let's go.
Maybe you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
Hold on. You gave her wings and blasters. So I take it you didn't have that tech available for me? No, I did. I do some dumb things, and the people I love the most, they pay the price.
Thanks to you, we had to run. We're still running.
Let's go.
you just need someone watching your back. Like a partner.
Hold on. You gave her wings and blasters. So I take it you didn't have that tech available for me?
No, I did.
Your boobs, especially like, is because you'd have to wear like a binder to press down your boobs in order for you like to not see them.
Right.
Like,
and yeah. I don't know. I just, part of me says you got to stylize it in the Marvel universe. You got to make it look Marvel, and that's the way Marvel was drawn. I mean, sorry, it's comic books, you know.
That was the one phrase you said, was it's a comic book movie.
Right.
All comic books have unrealistic body types for females anyway.
Yes.
They do. I still remember I read a Bloom County once where it was when Bloom County was originally ending back in the 80s. And all the characters were trying to get jobs in other comic mediums.
Right.
It's like Bill the Cat was going to try and go in with Peanuts and be in there with Snoopy and all that thing. Well, Steve Dallas wanted to go get drawn into comic books. And Opus said, why? He said, look at it. All these ladies are like Dolly Parton in Zero Gravity. And I never forgot that line. I'm like, that's fantastic, but that's exactly what it is.
That explains it
that
completely.
explains it. So it's, that's the way comics have been for a long time.
well, it's no offense, but it's mainly because their main demographic is men.
It was.
Like,
Now it's
seriously.
changing. It's definitely changing.
It's changed, but it was. But here's the other thing, too, that I've liked that Disney has kind of done. They've done a good job of taking that idea, but melding it with a little bit of reality.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And putting the two
It
things
looks like
together.
a tactical suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm okay with it. But I know a lot of females who are complaining about it, and I just wish they would relax a little bit and just go watch a movie and enjoy it for what it is and stop worrying about whether it feminizes somebody or whatever it is. Just see the movie and enjoy it for what it is. I mean, if there was a comic book... Okay. Comic books have always dealt with politics, and I always thought that they have been ahead of politics. Yes. Always.
Oh, yes.
You know, Captain America was dealing with the race issue before the race issue became an issue. Between Captain America and the Falcon, I always thought that was...
Hold on, before Bill get mad at you. There's always been a race issue.
There's always been a race issue, but I'm saying before it became...
the approach that everyone else
was at the forefront of everything.
Yes, it was being dealt with before other people were dealing with it.
Correct, that's what I'm saying. And
other mediums, sorry.
And same thing was happening with... the feminist culture. I think comic books were hitting up on it way before it became a thing that everybody wanted to talk about. The drug problems, I think, the same thing.
The famous, my God, my sidekick is a druggie.
Right, nationalism. I think nationalism got dealt through comic books before it became a hot topic to talk about. So I've always thought of comic books as being a little bit ahead of the political realm.
Yeah.
And I think we all need to realize that and honor that a little bit. And yeah, we are talking about some comics that were drawn in the 1980s and 1990s. So you have to kind of keep that in mind when you're watching some of these movies, that they are kind of a throwback a little bit. But understand too, I think as Disney moves on, they're going to start tackling these issues like comic books did. But they'll get there. But they're a little behind the times right now because
it's a movie.
They're catching up.
You know,
like they're just not there yet. I don't care. Okay, so the next trailer we wanted to talk about. This one's going to be interesting. This is the trailer for Venom, which I gotta admit.
Everyone's got their thing. Maybe it's a breakup, a death. Maybe it's a breakup, a death. Whatever it is, you used to be one thing. Now, you're something else. We all have our own problems. Our own issues.
Bits of Venom you see in this entire trailer are black veins creeping up his neck at the
and
very,
the symbiote.
and then the symbiote in one of the containment
one of the
systems.
tubes.
And that's it. That's all you see.
And that's all you need.
It makes me wonder if you're not even going to see Venom until halfway through the movie.
Yeah. I really
is
hope
this going to be another Godzilla where we don't see the monster until the halfway through the movie?
I really hope, though, as Venom, at one point, he either has, if he fights Spider-Man, great. If he doesn't, that's fine, as long as he's doing Venom stuff. But if he fights somebody and he's about to drop him off a building or something, he just says to them, "You have my permission to die," and drops them. And you take the line right from Bane.
Bane, yeah.
But do it in a totally different voice.
I know, Dad. I think the only reason why you would only see Venom until it's towards the end of the movie is it's got to be a lot of money to do that special effects makeup for Venom.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No?
Not anymore.
You don't think so?
Yeah, because all you're doing is putting a guy in a green suit and the computer can do all the rest.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, if you were really good at Adobe After Effects, I'm sure you could come up with some goopy thing to put on there. I mean,
I won't like it, though.
Your brother would be able to do it in his sleep, I'm sure, if he really thought it through and made it happen. Especially black. As a color, black is easy to do.
What I want to see is Tom Hardy as Venom beat up Topher Grace.
That actually would be really funny to have happen. I would actually be.
We're really taking this into Deadpool territory.
I might actually be cheering that on. Actually, I like that idea. Do you think we'll see a Venom Carnage fight at some point?
Well, that's one, and I'm sure everyone
That's
out there
an
already
implication.
knows that the current rumor won't be current by the time you hear this episode, but probably
That's okay.
completely disproven, is because Woody Harrelson is apparently in this movie, and now people are saying he's going to be Carnage.
Right.
I'm like, I don't think so.
I just don't think so. He's too. I'm not trying to knock Woody. I like Woody Harrelson, but he's too old to play Carnage. I mean,
Well, once the makeup's, once the outfit's on him,
I guess once the outfit's on,
he
it doesn't
becomes
matter.
a bouncing
but-
around big bulky guy.
No, see,
Good.
I don't see Carnage as a popular character, so I feel like if they put Carnage into this movie, no one's gonna know who that is.
Oh, he's huge in the Marvel Universe.
Okay,
At least in the
that
comics.
shot down pretty far.
You did. Sorry.
Who is Carnage, though? Is Cletus,
I can't remember his name.
Cletus something.
yeah, Cletus something. He does look like an older person, so it could be...
Does he really?
Yeah. It could,
I'm gonna again go. I'm going to the internets.
Going to the good old interwebs. So, we know we have Venom. We know we have Carnage. Are there any other characters? We know we have Spider-Man.
well, the one that's been confirmed right now as a symbiote is
Yes.
Scream.
Scream is confirmed.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the female symbiote.
Do we know if there's
That makes me happy.
a bad guy, or is Venom the bad guy?
Venom's going to be a good guy.
That's what I was going to say. Like, Venom's played as a good guy here, so...
Cletus
who's the
Cassidy.
bad- What is it?
Cletus Cassidy.
Cassidy, that's right. Cassidday. I remember
Nope.
now.
K-A-S-A-D-Y.
K-A-F. I'm so far off. K-S-I. Okay.
But apparently his first appearance was in The Amazing Spider-Man 344 back in 1991. So he's been around
A while.
almost 30 years.
Yeah, wow.
Well, it's like 27 years, 26 years.
And he is older.
Let's see.
The pictures I saw of him, it looked like...
He was a psychopath and a homicidal sadist.
Well, that sounds like Woody Harrelson.
Deeply disturbed individual with a dark past. As a child, he killed his grandmother by pushing her down a flight of stairs. He tried to murder his mother by throwing a hairdryer into her bathtub. He basically was a really bad person. So
I can see Woody Harrelson pulling that off, actually. On a little psychedelic, yeah.
But I think it's the guy, Sky Hayes is who I think
Right.
it's
I think he makes sense to me, too, that he'd be playing that role of Carnage. Okay, so
so hopefully we see more on that because it comes out when October.
We got
So we got a while
time.
on that. That's going to be.
That's why I was surprised to see a trailer. I was like,
Yeah, I have a feeling that this trailer, where we actually reveal Venom, will be attached to something big summer release.
I'm thinking it's got to be some sort of big Marvel release this summer.
Now I have seen this trailer dubbed with Bane from...
I imagine that would
Did
be
you see his recent video he put on YouTube?
No.
He's got a dog. And he basically has some sort of thing he puts over his face, and he does Bane lines in the voice to his dog. And it's really him. He's just like talking about, you think you were molded by I was molded in the dark, formed by it. And he's doing all these things, and his dog's just like looking at him all weird.
Okay, so the next trailer we wanted to talk about, this one is probably the most interesting, at least of the superhero ones, I think, of the ones we've talked about. And this is the Deadpool 2 teaser trailer. Probably the most anticipated movie as far as Sony's concerned, anyway.
Yeah. So how many of these trailers have been...
right?
So X-Men, Venom, and Deadpool.
Okay, Bob, what do you got against Fox?
Yeah, Deadpool's Fox.
Yeah, it's Fox.
Fox. I keep saying Sony for Fox. I'm
So
sorry.
Venom was...
I was born
Fox?
into war.
Venom is
Sony. Venom is Sony, and so was X-Men Dark Phoenix was Sony.
Right.
Nope, they're Fox, because
That's
they're
Fox,
sold,
right.
because that's right, because Marvel's getting both Deadpool and
And
X-Men. But
So
not,
does this mean that this is the last Deadpool movie then?
well, as in its current form.
Right.
In its current form, but Disney did say, now they I don't know, after we had our last podcast, Michael Eisner did send out a tweet to Ryan Reynolds saying that Disney was not above putting an R-rated movie out for a Marvel franchise.
Right.
He said they would tie the Marvel name to it, but not the Disney name.
Yeah,
if
so-
you've noticed, Disney's been very careful on most of their Marvel franchise.
That makes sense.
The Disney's name's not tied to it. It's
here's
Marvel.
the thing. They're like, go ahead, release it. We put no Disney logo with it except in the back. It'll probably
Right,
be in
except
the
at
end
the
credits.
very end credits, Buena
It's just a
Vista or
text,
whatever.
but yeah,
Right.
and it'll be like, let it make a ton of money. Why
Right.
would we be upset about that?
Right. And so part of me says I'm wondering if they realize that Deadpool, it's a cash cow for them. And if they keep Ryan Reynolds, if they're smart, they'll keep Ryan Reynolds. Because I still think if they go with anybody else,
Oh, he's Deadpool.
you will lose everyone.
Yeah, he's Deadpool. When I hear that voice,
Right, I'm from now on
I'm like,
forever.
that's
he will
what I
be
hear.
Deadpool.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
So it's going to be really hard to see Ryan Reynolds as anything but a Deadpool, and that's
I was born into war, bred into it. People think they understand pain, but they have no concept of it. What's the most pain you've ever felt? Maybe the kind that leaves you more machine than man.
Wait, no, stop! What in the actual beautiful ass.
Dale, why are the visual effects not done? It's a metal arm. It's not like we're trying to remove a mustache. Ah, fuck it.
I'll do it myself.
I'm Cable, and I'm from the future, and I like blowing shit up.
Pew, 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 pew. Reach for the sky!
Oh no, Sheriff Deadpool.
You know, you're a lot taller in the...
Shut up, you little asshole. Take this.
Oh! Regeneration powers, activate!
That's not something you say.
Zip it, Cable!
I got the stones to help you. No biting. They're done already? Oh, wow, that was unrealistically fast. Okay, hit it.
Your time's up, you dumb fuck.
Well, that's just lazy writing.
There's some other movies.
I'll bring up the summer movie release.
Hang on, the interwebs just gonna help us out again.
I seriously do think they're going to come on top, and I feel like they did the first Deadpool tactically with everything else coming out because it worked, and now that they have the first one down, I feel like the second one will do better.
I think they're going to struggle against Infinity War. I think once Infinity War comes out, that's going to put a kibosh on the whole Deadpool 2 thing. I mean, being realistic.
Okay, I'm going to skip over like March, April stuff. I'm going straight to May. May 4th, we got Avengers Infinity War.
Yep.
May 11th, nothing really.
Okay.
May 18th, Deadpool 2 comes out. The only thing going up against it are two movies I haven't really heard of, so not a trouble. But the very next weekend, the 25th, there's Solo.
That's what I was talking about.
So
Okay.
will Deadpool only get 1 week on top before Solo
I don't
bumps
think
it?
Solo's going to do good.
I I don't know. It all depends. It depends on.
Then they're both kind of lucky that the following weekend there's nothing
that weekend.
gigantic.
Yeah,
in fact, even the following weekend, there's Ocean's 8, which is the female Ocean's 11, which will probably get a decent audience. But again, the other ones I don't know.
I just don't know if that'll be enough to knock them off.
The 15th, we get The Incredibles 2. The 22nd, we get Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
That'll probably be the one that takes it off the list. I'm sure.
Oh, that's gonna knock a lot of things.
I don't think the solo movie is gonna do well.
I don't know about that. I'm not convinced of that just yet. The solo movie is yet to be seen.
There's not enough wanting me to actually go see said movie.
Time out.
Yeah, we can pause it. You paused for me.
Hang on, folks. We're going to pause a minute.
Can you pause that broadcast?
Hi, folks. We're back. Sorry, we had to take a break. Sometimes, nature calls. So that's the Deadpool.
You're not
2.
recording.
Yeah, yes.
Wait.
It's been recording.
Thanks for ruining that now.
Edit.
Take 2. So that's the Deadpool 2 teaser trailer. I don't know about you guys. Does it make you want to go see the movie? I mean, is it enough yet?
I'm very interested, but the problem is, and I've said this when we talked about the first Deadpool, I felt like it actually lacked enough humor. It was funny, but it went through a big period in the middle where it was a super downer, and I came out of the movie going, I felt disjointed. Right. And I'm kind of hoping this has a better flow through.
You even said you expected him to be a little more psychotic.
Yes, one of the things they've avoided is the inner monologue and the second voice. He's not crazy, he's just a smart aleck. So it's kind of like, I want the crazy, because the crazy helps explain the fourth wall breaking.
Right.
And now without that, I feel like the fourth wall breaking is kind of thrown in there. Okay. So I want to see him, if he's nuts, it kind of explains like he's seeing reality differently,
Yeah.
And I hope they go a little farther with that this time.
I'm kind of hoping they do too, to be honest with you. I think they need to make him a little more psychotic and a little less normal.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's going to be a hard stretch for Ryan Reynolds.
No, that's the thing. He can pull it off. It's all in the writing. It's all in how they portray the character.
Yeah, exactly. How they have him doing it. What do you think, Gary? You more excited or less excited, or don't care at this point?
I don't care. I'm still going to see it.
I'm not allowed to see it.
Oh, well, no, that's not true. You got to see Deadpool 1. You just had to cover your eyes for a certain part of it.
Yeah, I know what happened.
Calendar Girl will never be the same ever again.
I already saw it.
Yeah. Okay.
On TV.
So, the last trailer we want to talk about is probably the biggest one. First off,
I've been running scams on the street since I was 10. Kicked out of the flight academy for having a mind of my own. I'm gonna be a pilot. Best in the galaxy. Best in the galaxy.
Hey, kid. I'm putting together a crew. Kid. Hey, kid. I'm putting together a crew. You in? You in?
That's yes.
I might be the only person. Only person who Who knows? What you really are.
What's that?
Get ready. Get ready.
Thought we were in trouble there for a second, but it's fine. We're fine.
Put some of those fears to the side.
The trailer has done nothing to alleviate my fears of him as Solo.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, unfortunately, I still don't see Han Solo when I look at him, visually.
Yeah.
His face shape is too different. I hear a little bit of it in his voice when he's a couple lines, but I've had to hear those lines like 3 or 4 times to pick up on it.
Right.
So I'm really worried that I'm not going to see Han Solo in his performance. I need to see more of his performance. The visuals, some of the things they're doing with it look really cool. I'm fine with everything else. I'm fine with the Millennium Falcon the way it is. All that's fine. I'm worried about the centerpiece, which is him.
Right, and I was actually sitting here going, I think Ron Howard did a great job of bringing us into the Star Wars universe visually. Whatever he did visually to get this movie back together, I think he did a great job pulling that all back together. I'm back to where you're at, though. Like, I think Lando's going to be great. I do. I actually am worried that Donald Glover may outshine the Han Solo.
Oh, yeah.
And
I thought you were going to say outshine Billy D. Williams. I'm like, shut your mouth.
No. Nobody could outshine Billy G. Sorry. It's Colt 45 is going to be Colt 45. But, I mean, like, I'm worried he's actually going to outshine
Solo.
The guy playing Solo. To me, what's missing from Solo right now, at least from what I've seen, he doesn't have the swagger.
Right.
There's this swagger.
And maybe that's the point. Maybe
Harrison Ford had.
Maybe he develops it this movie. Maybe by the end of the movie.
Yeah, maybe he starts off timid, and then by the end he's got the swagger.
And if they do that,
because he did the Kessel Run, or whatever.
Yeah, if that's the thing, if they do that and they give him the swagger, I'll be okay with that because. Yeah, people don't have swagger from the moment they're born. They kind of develop it over time. I'll be okay with that.
Or if you earn the reputation of having swagger.
I need to see and hear Han Solo in him. I still don't.
I agree with you. What do you think, Gary? Like, what was your thoughts after seeing this trailer?
I'm still concerned about it.
Yeah? What's your biggest concern?
Han Solo.
Okay. Solo himself, kind of like Eric?
Yep.
What was the best thing in the trailer? Let me ask the two of you that. Because I've got something I really liked, but I want to see what you guys think.
I'm going to go with the same thing that I liked about the Force Awakens. The best part about it was the Falcon.
The Falcon. Okay. Eric, what was your favorite part?
That's tough. Probably the vortex scene.
Okay.
Just because I like that visual, and it'd be neat if they take the fan theory about the Kessel Run and make it true, which is everyone complaining about parsecs not being a measure of time, but being a measure of distance.
Yeah, right.
And the point is that, yes, what he did was he went through the dangerous routes that no one else could fly. He did the Kessel Run in a shorter distance.
Right.
Because he went the dangerous paths that no other pilot could do. Look at that scene. Those are the dangerous paths that no other pilot could do. So if he actually does it in under, they're like, yes, it's a 20 parsec run. I'm going to do it in 12. And he does it.
Right.
You know, whatever. I'll be okay with them tying that in and turning that into an epic scene. That'd be great.
I can understand.
But so that's what I'm kind of hopeful for.
Tara, what was your favorite part?
Mandos.
Okay.
If they're Mandos.
If they're Mandos. Not bounty hunters, whatever you want to call them. My favorite part was actually just seeing 4 people in the chairs of the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon again.
That was neat, yeah.
That was just nice to see, nice throwback to, I don't know, the old days.
I wonder if he's going to put the dice on in the movie at some point.
That would be kind of cool,
get
too.
the dice and put them on.
Just an homage to The Last Jedi, even, kind of tie it all together, too.
Now there's an image that I didn't see in this trailer that someone brought up of a snow trooper.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks like he's got mechanical legs without hands.
I saw that image too. It was put on Facebook somewhere.
Right. There's an image I've seen, like I was explaining to you guys off air, of the inside of the actual where the table is. They're sitting at the game table.
Right.
And you see where that thing looks like clean. You actually see the coloring of the chairs, and you can see it in the cockpit. All of them have yellow upholstery, which is like gone and faded.
I know, right? By the time
seeing all those neat details clean is going to be neat. The other thing I've heard, because it is during the right time period, we're getting another Vader cameo.
A Vader cameo?
Because it's the same time and it's involving the Empire heavily.
I guess, yeah, it would kind of make sense.
It totally fits if they can fit him in, and I think we're supposed to get another Vader cameo.
And it would probably be the same guy that's in the Rogue One costume.
If they keep putting it at this time period, because they can even do it with the Kenobi movie. Right. The Kenobi movie will take place after Vader was created. And that could be the tie-in for all the standalone movies, is a brief cameo of Vader. And they keep using that to tie them together, and I would love that if they do it.
That's actually a really cool idea, all the standalones to be tied together that way.
Because you don't need them a lot, just in there somewhat.
So one thing I do want to address, because I can't believe this was a thing. A whole bunch of people went online, I told you guys about this, and were like complaining that Han Solo never worked for the Empire. I want to be clear about this. Yes, he did.
He went through the academy.
Yes.
He went through the Imperial Academy. That's where he learned how to fly, people. Mm-hmm. That's how he learned to be the pilot
One
that
of the
he
best
is.
pieces of comic book art based on the movies that I saw of the expanded universe came out before they even did the prequels, was a comic cover that showed, or a comic book art that showed Chewie. You could only see him from like the chest, and his arms were shackled, and there was a hand holding an ID card, an Empire ID card, and it was Han Solo's ID card, and the other hand was lighting it on fire and burning it.
Yeah.
And it was Han Solo burning his Empire
card
ID to leave because there was a Wookiee that he was rescuing or something.
There's another famous comic too, and it's one of my favorites that I have, and it's signed by the original artist. It's of Han Solo in the Baron costume, because Han Solo was a Baron in the TIE Fighter wings. He's standing there in his Baron costume, arms folded. He has the belt like he does as a pirate with the blaster on it and everything, and he's just standing there just kind of like with some swagger. And there's something about that picture I always kind of loved, because it showed him like at his prime in the Imperial Academy, and I think it was part of the X-Wing Squadron series, and they did a flashback to Han Solo graduating from the X-Men, from the TIE Fighter Academy. And it's the part like when everybody was like, no, and I'm like, apparently y'all don't know Star Wars history, because he was part of the Imperial.
None of that surprises me.
No, and I'm glad that
I have not even read the expanded universe, and I know all this.
And I'm glad Disney didn't throw that away. I'm glad they're keeping that part. Keep that part in, because I was cool with that. There's certain things where I'm like, you can throw it away and I'm okay with it. But that one, I'm sorry. Han Solo's always been a part of the Imperial Academy, and he should be in this movie, and I hope he is. So
I also heard that Harrison Ford actually came behind the scenes to give some
pointers,
some advice to Alden Ehrenreich about performing the character. Some just for him type insights.
Right. Well, and maybe that gives us hope to the fact that towards the end we might see the swagger.
I hope.
Okay, so those were our thoughts on the X-Men Dark Phoenix trailer, the Ant-Man and the Wasp trailer, the Venom trailer, the Deadpool 2 teaser trailer, and Solo: A Star Wars Story trailer. That's right, folks. Trailer Mania.
And there are some we didn't even cover.
That's right. We have some more we're going to cover next time. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Head over to GalaxyCast.com. You can write to us at GalaxyCast@gmail.com. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Facebook. Find us on YouTube and let us know what you think. And we'll be back in just a little bit as we review the next episode of Star Wars Rebels. We're still not quite caught up, and that's okay. We'll be catching up tonight. We'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, YouTubers. We'll be back in just a little bit.
Maybe.
Hey, YouTubers, we're back.
It's cold in here.
We just finished watching the episode, so now we're going to record.
It's cold.
Are you done complaining?
Go live in Texas.
Whatever. All right, you guys ready? 3. Okay, folks, welcome back to this episode of the GalaxyCast as we talk about the latest episode of Star Wars Rebels, at least the latest to us, titled Crawler Commandeers. It's supposed to be Crawler Commanders, I believe. I think
no, Commandeers.
Commandeers? Oh, Commandeers. Okay, I thought it was Commanders. I'm sorry. Not that it matters. The whole episode was about a crawler.
Yeah.
And that's it. Thank you, folks. We're done. Good night. We can drop the mic.
Basically.
Can we take over a
crawler
vehicle?
Right, yeah. Basically, we have this crawler that is burning up the land on Lothal, and it's mining ore, right? Gary is still was the assumption that I'm making about this. And they want to take over the crawler because they realize that it's signaling. It's got a long range.
It's got a long range antenna on it,
and that's how they find it. At the beginning, they discover there's a signal coming from something.
Yes, they have a receiver, but it's not strong enough to get past the Empire's signal block on the planet. But they're hearing something close by, so they go check it out. It's this crawler, and they realize that crawler has a strong enough antenna.
Right, it's got a long-range antenna on it, and so they decide to go get the crawler. I mean, and
so they can get through the raspberry jam.
Right? Yeah. Lone Star. So so they fly right towards the crawler.
Up the back, a bit behind it.
A little bit behind it, but it's still sitting here going, okay, there's no security at all. Security can't see anything coming at all, ever, never, ever. Can't see them coming at all.
No.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening.
It's got smoke around it. It's obviously not designed to have a lot of people walking on the surface because it's only got some small walkways.
Well, I think that's so that they can burn up whatever's on the ground. I mean, that makes sense to me, but I don't know. I just thought there would be better security. I mean...
Yeah.
Oh, I expect it's a mining guild operation.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Mining guild droids were there, of course.
Yeah, it didn't hate it. It didn't break it too much for me. Like other things in the episode, it didn't break anything for me.
There were other bad spots in the episode, I'll give you that totally took away. So they do away with the droid pretty quickly. They do away with another droid, security droid, pretty quickly.
Nice shot right to the head.
Yeah, nice shot to the head, and they start getting into the droid. Now, meanwhile, back on Yavin 4, we have Hera, who is debating with Mon Mothma, and... who else is with them?
Bail Organa.
Thank you.
Hologramming in.
And General Dodonna, and they're all talking about the new TIE Defenders, elites.
Yes, and they're saying how it has no weaknesses they can discover, and if they get manufactured, they will not be able to handle them in combat.
If they mass produce them, there's no way their fleet's going to be able to withstand them. So there's a lot of discussion. I just found it interesting that they very quickly kind of almost escorted out of the room. I don't know. They escorted out of the room Hera in order to have a discussion, which seemed very vague.
Well, she's not high enough up.
Right. She's not important enough to be able to hear the other part of the discussion. Although later, Mon Mothma just comes out and freely tells her whatever it is they talked about.
Because I think Mon Mothma's on her side.
I guess, but I mean, like, I was kind of like, if that's so secretive, why couldn't she just sit in there?
Well, I wonder if there were other things they were discussing that we don't know.
Maybe that's a possibility. Yeah, it's a possibility too.
Yeah, that Directive 13.
Don't you guys assume Directive 13 is
Death Star?
A reference to the Death Star?
Yeah, they cleared off all Empire on a planet to destroy it.
No.
You don't think so? What is it?
Because they said it's evacuation of a planet of all Imperial personnel.
So the Death Star could come in and blow it up.
No.
What do you think it is then?
There's going to be Throne's going to level Lothal.
Oh, he's gonna level Lothal.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's why the blockade keep people from coming in, and then they clear the planet and then just level it from the space.
Yeah, because one of the trailers showed them just laying waste to the planet.
Yeah, I remember us even talking about that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, they might be getting rid of all the people to just
they know that if they send it an attack force to destroy the factory, it's going to be nil because they're going to destroy it. The Imperials are going to destroy it themselves.
Right.
Pretty much.
Right. True. Yeah, that's true. If they're going to destroy it, there's no point in.
Okay, so the rebels are the ghost team is there. They're collateral damage.
Right. They're gone. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that.
But then why send an entire attack fleet?
Because they can.
Because they do it like they did in Rogue One. They just went.
Right.
A group of them just went.
So you think Hera didn't get permission?
Right.
She's just grabbed a bunch of people. Okay.
If she did get permission, it's just from.
Maybe for one squadron or something.
It's from Mothma. It ain't from the rest of them.
Right. I get what you're saying.
And she's told them you have limited time.
Right.
And you have to get out of there.
Yeah, that would be an interesting way that'd be interesting if that's the way it rolls out. So long story short, they commandeer the ship, and in the process they
kill them.
Well, no, they try to capture the commander of the ship, but they don't really capture him. I'm not sure what they're doing with the commander.
They don't tie him up. They don't ever do anything. They keep letting him get out and get loose.
And he's like a gecko, for crying out loud. He keeps crawling all over the place, and I'm waiting for him to be like, oh, yeah, I could offer you some insurance, like it's just waiting for him to do that.
I could gecko.
Right? Like I don't know. And he hisses and he does all these weird things, which of course they make fun of. Ezra makes fun of when he answers the comms and all that kind of stuff. And of course they make fun of it when he's like, do I sound like that?
That actually was a guy like that one.
Yeah. And there were a couple of comedic parts, but now knowing that Seth Green was the voice of the captain of the entire crawler, I'm kind of like, okay, well that makes a lot of sense why there was some humor thrown in there. So they don't tie him up, they just kind of
keep knocking him out.
Zeb keeps doing that. And in the meantime, there's some sort of signal being given in the ship.
Well, there's an intercom. It's coming from the back of the ship.
Right. So they send Zeb and Kanan to go and check out what that is. They tell Ezra to keep the ship going, and they tell
Sabine to keep trying to get the antenna working.
Right, try to get the antenna working. So yet again, they split themselves up into 20 different directions, which never seems to work.
Nope.
And Kanan and Zeb find slaves on the ship being forced to work.
One of them is Vizago.
One of them's Vizago, the Goddle we keep running into, and so it kind of feels like yet again we're relying on old characters to come back and anchor something that's not working.
I didn't look at it that way. I kind of looked at it as like they were telling what happened to him.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
They didn't really. You never really knew where he ended up.
Right. He just knows. Yeah. He ended up.
He's not a big enough character to make it like.
Yeah, he's not anchoring it.
He's an anchor character that really ties us into the Star Wars universe.
No,
so I feel like it was just a story continuation.
So in the process, they also discover that the gecko is up and about again.
Yeah.
And this time they decide to throw him into the gangplank, and then while they do that. The gangplank or the side room off of the main closet or whatever you want to call it. Meanwhile, the gunship shows up.
No, you're jumping way ahead. There's the whole sequence with the Bosk type.
There's the fight between Zeb and that
with the laser whip. We were wondering remember we were like, who has the laser whip? This could be really cool. Oh, it turns out it's
not even like a Jedi. It's not even a Sith. It's just a slaver whipping his slaves around.
Who happens to be looks like the same race as Bosk.
Right, and I think they are the same race as Bosk.
Trandoshan.
Yep, Trandoshan. And Zeb and the Trandoshan.
The Trandoshan can beat a Jedi when he has just a laser whip, because he
beats the crud out of Kanan pretty quick.
Had no chance.
Yeah, bounty hunters are supposed to be able to beat Jedi, so it kind of makes sense. But it doesn't make any sense in this episode. I agree with you.
Maybe he's not really a Trandoshan. Maybe he's Isalmari.
Yeah, right. He's an Isalmari Trandoshan. Could that be a thing? Could they procreate? That would be interesting. So anyway, and
then he ends up getting into a big fight with Zeb.
And this whole fight is so awkward because they end up underneath a overwalk platform, and part of me is like, why? They didn't I don't know. And they didn't need to end up there.
Well, he tried to push Zeb over.
Right, but
Zeb grabbed him, pulled him over, and thought he'd knocked him off.
Right.
And it turns out the guy was hanging next to him.
Right.
They got into an underside fight, and then he used his whip to hang.
But you're not telling me this choreography was just plain awful? I mean,
No, I didn't think. Trust me, I didn't think this was nearly as awful as other episodes I've seen.
Yeah, I guess that's true. When I don't know what bad and bad.
They don't
is.
do a lot of
Bad and worse.
hand-to-hand fighting in Clone Wars.
True.
So to see a little bit of it, I didn't actually think that was bad.
Okay. So anyway, Zeb goes to knock him off, and he doesn't fall, and then Zeb kind of catches him. He whips him. All this weird stuff happens with the whip. First off, Zeb, I don't understand how he didn't end up letting go because he's getting electrocuted. He was having a hard time holding to begin with.
He's tougher.
I guess he's tougher, but I just, So there's a lot of questions I have about this. And then Zeb watches the guy fall. And I'm assuming he dies.
Yeah.
Because we really don't know.
He fell into smoke.
And we just kind of make the assumption he does.
Hey,
Nobody, no death. That's Gary's rule. And so they get applauded by the Goddle and everybody that's there. And yay, they freed us and all this kind of stuff. Then we go back and we throw the gecko into the side room, and
the gunships
approach, and that's when
Vizago tries to impersonate the captain.
Right, that's when they decide to switch and have Vizago impersonate the captain, and they try to get the Imperials off the ship as quick as they can because their biggest fear is that the gecko is going to wake up again and this time reveal where they are. My only thing about this part of the episode was, when they switched rooms, like when the Imperials were, trying to find the rebels on the ship, as it were, they didn't make it realistic at all. Like, we never saw the rebels move from room to room. Like, have them sneaking by in the background or something. Like, we didn't even see that happen. And I gotta admit, Vizago was surprised. I was even more surprised that they were able to switch rooms that quick.
I knew they went into the other closet.
Oh, yeah?
They did it from the beginning. The only person in the closet was the knocked out captain. They left him in there because they all had come back out and were talking. And then when the gunships landed, they ran into the second closet.
True, yeah.
But still, it was a weird...
It was, the whole scene was blocked weird. And then the Imperials gave up real quick. Like, they were like, there's nobody here. And then the part I didn't understand at all is the guy who captains the ship has a lisp and sounds like a snake. And then a Goddle who sounds almost like a goat is the guy who's the captain now, and nobody questions that. Yeah. That's not something we question at all.
The only thing I could figure was the people who called in the question were familiar with the captain, but the crew that they sent out was just a crew they just sent and said, go check this out.
Just a generic crew to go check it out.
And so they didn't have all the info. They didn't know who they were going to talk to. They just,
But again, another gap that we have to try to explain away.
We have to explain it.
Right. So the Imperials will leave, and that's when they decide to try to start sending a long-distance signal, and that's when we find out that our Gecko captain has taken off, and he is now severed connections with the power.
He's sabotaging the ship.
And basically is keeping them from contacting their rebel friends. And in the process, he's demanding that they contact the Imperials instead, and that this is his ship, and he's got control of it. And that's when suddenly Sabine reveals that he's in the power room, in the control room, and he's taken power away from the actual antenna and may actually take power to the whole station, to the whole crawler, unless they go and do something about it. So that's when they decide Ezra really is the best person to go up through the shaft, because they tried going another way and it's locked with a mag lock, so can't use a Jedi lightsaber to get through it. So Ezra has to be the one to go get him. And he finds him in the control room, and they have a little fight. And
that fight, the second fight, was way more awkward to me.
It seemed very awkward.
That one I didn't like at all. I didn't mind the one with Zeb. I actually thought it was kind of neat to see Zeb get into a fist fight where he was being beat up and stuff.
Right.
But this one with Ezra, the thing with jump on him and hit him a few times, and then crawl into the darkness, then crawl back, and every time he tried to jump on him, he was kind of aware it was going to be there, and he kept ducking it, but he couldn't hit it. So you're telling me these things are so quick a Jedi
couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with his lightsaber for whatever stupid reason.
They can block laser blasts.
Not that he has force or anything and can sense him.
Yeah, they can't lightsaber him.
Right. Yeah. That's true too. He never even used a force push or anything like that. Nope. It was all. And then the only thing that kills the captain is he trips on the lightsaber and falls into the smelting part of the ship. And I don't know. I kind of got the impression like they were trying to imply in this episode that maybe Ezra turned to the dark side slightly in that he didn't save the guy.
He realized the guy was about to trip,
And he didn't do anything about it.
He kind of looked like he was going to say something, never did, and then the guy fell in.
Right. And then we assume that's the end of the captain. Ezra returns power to the ship. They finally get a hold of Hera, and that's when we discover that the rebels have decided they're going to attack Lothal, and that's kind of where we end.
And these guys have now captured a trawler, and they're going to be in charge of the ground assault.
Right, and they give that over to Vizago and tell him that's his ship now, that he can control it. And that's pretty much the end of the episode.
That's the entire episode in a nutshell.
We just explained that in about less than 10 minutes. I just want to point that out. There wasn't much to this episode. Yet again, it was very, disjointed, just very off.
Slow. It's very slow storytelling. So the one thing about Rebels that has always surprised me is how they stretch stuff out.
Yeah.
They come up with a single idea, which maybe, if it was a Star Wars movie, taking over this trawler would have been like a 1-minute sequence of action.
Sure.
And then move on. But because it's Rebels and because it's a whole season, they decided to dedicate a whole episode to it.
For 30 minutes.
And it is. It always feels too stretched out.
It was so slow, even Gary fell asleep through it.
Yep.
Yep.
So this is going to sound real harsh, but I babysit, and so, sometimes you watch the shows. I've seen kids shows that are more interesting and have more of a plot line than Star Wars Rebels does.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's even it's being marketed to kids, and I kind of make...
It's marketed to teenagers.
So part of me says, it's almost like they're dumbing it down at this point.
They really feel like they are.
I kind of feel like they are. Like there's almost assuming the kids are dumb or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. What's that?
It's the C team.
The Z team. That's for sure. So I guess
the alphabet team.
I guess we could rate this and talk about it quick because there's really not much else to say, right? I mean,
we've described the entire episode.
We've described the entire episode.
It doesn't really tie into the overall giant mythology they've been setting up with the Loth Wolves and the weird visions and what's going to happen. And there was no Thrawn. There was really no Empire threat other than the 2 gunships. There really are the whole point of the episode. Literally, the entire point of the episode is we have to get a message to Hera.
Yeah,
and that they spend the entire episode trying to get a message to Hera.
And more importantly to me, the more important part of the episode was the part we didn't spend much time on at all, which is the rebels are going to attack Lothal.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
To me, that's the big deal. That's the only big deal of the whole episode. And we spent 2 minutes on it, I think, total throughout the entire episode. I don't know. It's distressing.
And we did learn about, what was it, Directive 13?
Directive 13, yeah.
Where apparently
they're going to leave Lothal.
We assume it's Lothal. We're making that assumption.
It's all Imperial personnel evacuate the planet.
Yes,
right.
But we don't know if it's Lothal or if it's
we assume it's Lothal.
It could be. We assume it's Lothal because Gary has a good point. He thinks that Thrawn is going to decimate the planet, just destroy it from space. But it could also be them. They were saying we got bigger fish to fry than these these
rebels.
They were saying the rebels were saying they have bigger things to deal with than these new designed TIE fighters.
Right.
Well, now I guess they be called Tri-Fighters. Because there's this Directive 13 they learned about, which is the evacuation of the planet. They think something bigger is going on, and so it could be a Death Star evacuation.
Right.
Clear a planet off so the Death Star can come in and do a test run.
Right. So, what do you guys think? I mean, go ahead, Gary.
Which could be they're evacuating Jeddah.
That's the only thing I'm thinking.
That's the other
because that was the first test.
Yeah, we could be that evacuation there on Jeddah. So, what do you guys think? Anybody want to take this one first?
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Gary.
I'm going to give it 7 pillows.
7 pillows.
Yep. Which translates to a 3.
Oof.
So it's really good to sleep to, but
but not really good to watch if you want to stay awake. What's the best part, Gary?
The best part, seeing that big mining
craft.
Yeah, okay. I liked it. It was pretty neat.
It was a good design.
What was the worst part?
Waking back up
and like I'm still watching Rebels.
It's still going. Tara, what would you rate this one?
A 2.
Okay. Best part?
Death. There was a death at the end.
Okay. And what was the worst part?
The episode.
Okay. Wow, harsh. Eric, what was your rate?
I'll be a little higher than, but I'm going to go 5. Okay. I'm dead down the middle because, it was a boring episode. It was completely stretched out. I didn't actually mind the fight between Zeb and the bounty or the slaver. I thought it was kind of neat to see a fist fight where Zeb was actually kind of getting beaten up and stuff because he's always just clunked heads and knocked people out.
Right.
I felt like they tried to throw. It's like they didn't have a full script, so they threw in other stuff. Let's put Vizago on the ship, so we got another character that's they're rescuing him, and let's, whatever. So it felt like a really padded out 5-minute idea.
Right.
That was just padded out to a full episode. That being said, we now, there are a couple important moments that lead into the next episodes. If you didn't see this, you'd be wondering why they're attacking the planet.
Right.
You'd miss out on that. So there's a little bit we got out of it. Nothing majorly important. I think my favorite part was actually the joke throwaway line where the captain said, "I sound like that."
Yeah.
That's what I sound like. And the worst part to me was the entire cockpit sequence where they were trying to convince the stormtroopers. It just felt so fake and awkward and forced. And those are the dumbest stormtroopers ever, because the guy was like, "Empty? I mean, of course it's empty." I'd be like, "Why? What were you expecting to find in there?" It's like they just were unaware. They didn't even check the second closet.
Nope.
And the guy's acting really suspicious, and they just, okay, we'll leave. So the whole sequence was like really bad. Writing. Just bad writing that just didn't pan out. So I'll be a little generous with it, and I'll give it a 5.
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat as the other. I'm giving it a 3 too. To me, you could have told this story in the first 5 minutes of the next Rebels episode. Previously or whatever. You could have done a newsreel. I don't care how you do it, but this was not an entire episode moment. My favorite part of this episode actually was, out of all the fights, I gotta say it was the Trandoshan fight with Zeb. It really was the best part of the entire episode. It's still awkward and clunky, I think. It still didn't quite flow with everything else.
Why you're giving it only a 3?
Right. The worst part of the episode to me was just the lack of doing anything with the captain. I mean, why would you let the captain just walk all over the place? I mean, seriously, tie him up, do something, zip ties, something. I mean, I don't know.
They don't afford that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they can't afford zip ties. Yeah.
You've got slaves on the ship. There must be some sort of restraining system for the slaves.
Somewhere, right? I mean, it just didn't make any sense at all. And the Empire actually seemed weak in this episode, which I can't believe that's a,
At least those couple of guys seemed
really stupid. I just can't believe that they would.
They needed a better idea as to why they wouldn't want to stay on the ship. Not, hey, you want to see the logs? They're really boring, but I'll show them to you. The whole thing should have been when they landed, they should have had all the slaves lie down.
Right.
Us put on masks. We've had a leak of something. It'd make it sound like the thing's dangerous and you shouldn't stay long. And they'd be like, okay, we got to get out of here. Get it fixed. Get it right. Something. Right there. I just threw that out. And I think it's a better plan to
I'm going to go one step better. I think the idea of needing a long-range antenna, okay, good idea. Just don't put it on the stupid crawler. Put it on something else. Yeah. And I would have been okay with it. I think the crawler was just a dumb MacGuffin in the middle of all this that could have been avoided just by having a long-range antenna on a building that would be impossible to get into, but they got to do it anyway.
Yeah,
so
something.
I don't know. Just really kind of a weird way to end this episode. So yet again, here we are on another Star Wars Rebels episode where all of us are kind of like, what just happened? What did we just watch? Or not watch, because some of us watched the back of our eyelids. But that's okay. I don't blame you, Gary. I was having a hard time with it myself, trying to stay awake through it.
I just spent the episode on my phone.
Okay, so, you guys have heard it now. We've said what we have to say about this episode. There's not much else to say.
It's sad that there's Star Wars media out there that
we are
so
not into.
Boring.
This is actually starting to make Star Wars Ewoks look normal. I can't believe I'm saying that. Or even Star Wars droids from back in 1980, whatever, look normal. So, maybe the Star Wars Holiday Special isn't so bad after all.
I'd rather watch that.
Has more plot line than this.
Right? I mean, so I can't believe I'm saying that either. So that was our thoughts on this episode of Star Wars Rebels. We'd love to hear from you or hear from you about what we just said. Yeah. So please find us on Facebook. Please find us on Twitter. Please find us on YouTube, or head on over to galaxycast.com. Let us know, or even email us at galaxycast@gmail.com and let us know what you thought of this episode as well. We'd love to hear from you as our elated people out there that are listening to us. What do you think of this episode? Maybe you disagreed with us, or maybe you're in the same boat as us and you're like, get rid of this one.
Yeah.
So, as we always like to say here in the Star Production Studios,
may the
Force be with those who listen.
Because it's not with those watching Rebels.
And Shatter Points.
And Dillian.
Ewoks.